Well, hi, thanks for joining me here in my shop. What am I going to do now? I seem to have one problem with this radio that needs to be worked on. That's the digital display. That doesn't really affect the radio operation, the receiver and the transmitter. So I'm not going to worry about the digital display. The last video, I tried the transmitter. I kept the transmitter on low power, which is around 1 watt. It's not very much power at all. And I had it feeding into this for crying out loud, dummy load here, or dummy antenna that's inside this box. And I ended up with a couple things. One is, and I also was receiving it on this radio in the background here, tuned to shortwave, so I could pick this guy up. Unsure about the power coming out of here. For sure it's very, very low, but I don't know if it's really up to the 1 watt that it's supposed to be. This meter's not sensitive enough to really show 1 watt clearly on this dial. So I brought in another meter, and that's this one here. Now this is really meant, this is an old cheap thing, meant to go on your CB radio antenna output and help you check the SWR on your antenna system, and it'll measure the power output also. Now, it's really meant for CB. CB radio transmits around 27 megahertz. And this radio, 27 megahertz, is near the top of what this radio can do. This one's much more comfortable. Well, I shouldn't really say that, but normally this is used at lower frequencies, quite often quite low frequencies, down in the 160 meter band. And I don't mean me, I mean ham radio people in general. So this thing is kind of designed for a frequency that a radio like this seldom operates at. But it's much more sensitive. 5 watts, it's 10 watts full scale, and 5 watts is 3/4 of the way over. So you could easily see 1 watt on this. 1 watt would bring this up to here, assuming it's all right, it's all working right. Now this thing's got a modulation setting, it's got a SWR setting, and it's got 2 calibration settings here and an RF power setting. I just have it on the RF power setting. I'm not sure about the calibration. I think the calibration goes with the modulation and the SWR meter. So I think the power meter, there's no calibration. In any case, I have both these calibrators cranked up. Now cranked up to what I imagine is the high side, making this meter as sensitive as possible. That's what I think I've done. So maybe if there's a 1/4 watt coming out of here, I can see it on this meter. And then I have this very cool piece of equipment. This is a matching piece. It goes with the radio and the power supply. You can see from the cabinet it has the same kind of look. And this is basically a specialty oscilloscope, and its job is to monitor the signal coming out of the ham radio and display it. And this thing actually monitors or measures or samples, however you want to look at it, the actual signal heading to the antenna. It's fed through here. So in fact, the output of this radio is going first through this meter, then via this cable up here, it's going around into this guy. It's coming out of the back of this guy and going into here. In here, it's meeting up with the dummy antenna. So that's the way I've got this stuff set up. And what I'm hoping to do is, if I get comfortable enough, I'll put this up on high power here and operate it that way. So, but I won't do it for now. So let's turn on some of this stuff. The only thing that really needs to be turned on is this guy here. There we go. Let it warm up. I'm not very familiar with this piece of equipment. It's really useful for the kind of ham radio work I do. I do PSK 31, which is a digital mode, and this lets you see the degree of modulation on the signal. It's really neat. It's really advantageous, but I haven't made an awful lot of use of it, unfortunately, just because of the way things have been set up. And I moved to this house 6 months ago. I still haven't set up my shortwave, my ham radio rather. That's what I'm working on right now. So let's see if we can get something a little more interesting here. Maybe not. I won't fiddle with this too much. There we go. Well, yeah, you can see the line on there. So there's a line on there. That's about all we're going to do with that right now. I have a feeling the low power is not going to do much on this. This is really looking for significantly more power. It has a vertical gain. I've got it up full. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we can turn this guy on because he's just going to work as a receiver. Funny how these come on late, eh? You think if it's a bad connection, just a contact problem, that these would either all come on or not come on. Excuse me, they wouldn't come on, and then a moment later more segments come on. So that's a curious thing in itself. Let's see if we're working here. Okay, so there's the sound of the receiver, and for an antenna, all it's got is all this shielded wire and these pieces of equipment. So there's probably enough reception antenna here to pick something up if there's something to pick up. But we're not worried about picking up, we're worried about transmitting. So now this is turned right down. I'm going to put it on tune, and that'll throw the transmitter into transmit mode and provide a signal. I believe the signal you're going to hear coming out of the speaker here is also applied to the to modulate the outgoing actual radio transmission signal. So I'm hoping to see something up here. Where are we? We're on the 20. Start at the bottom here. Well, I'll just tip that up when we need to see it. I can't even see it yet. Here we go. Volume down. I'm not sure that affects anything. Tune. High is off. Okay, so I can hear a faint tone from here. There it is. So that's the tone. Now, what do we got? Okay, so I see nothing on this meter. So we're just going to go up in band. This is the 7 megahertz. I did not see any movement. But I have the feeling this meter may not react to these lower frequencies. There may be a filter in it or something like that. I really don't know. Tune. So no motion on this at all. 21 megahertz band. Oh! Oh, it popped up a little wee bit. And so did this one. This one popped up a wee bit too. See if I can get a closer look at that. Okay, I'll switch it on. So looking at the top scale, you can see that shows a quarter, not even a quarter. That's like a tenth of a watt on that scale. Okay, if we look at this one, you can see where the 10 is. It's not quite on the 0, is it? I'll hold still here. See it pop up? So it's a very similar. The two meters are giving a similar indication. What about this? I'm not too sure what to make of this yet. You know, this thing does gets a little bit wider. There's a bit of modulation. Let's see. Vertical gain. What's going on with this control? Just goes around and around and around. Control's loose on the shaft. Okay, that's the maximum there. So that's maximum gain. Let's turn on the transmitter again. I can just barely see it. Let's see if this will increase the modulation here. What I'm doing is I'm turning the mic CW level. Doesn't seem to have any effect on this test signal that we're using right now. Okay, let's go up another band here. Okay, switch back to the bigger camera. This is the WWV band. I'm not sure we're really meant to transmit on this. I think this is meant just for receiving WWV for calibration purposes, so not try it there. And here we go. This is the 28, so this is right in the CB range, or close to it anyway. Here we go. About half as much movement here. Another band up. Similar. Similar again. These are all in the 28, 29 megacycle range, very close to the CB band. So, well, this meter is showing that there is something coming out. It's supposed to be 1 watt. And now that raises a good question. What if I push in the high button, push the tune button? How many watts does this thing try to deliver? Does it immediately try to transmit 100 watts? Or do I have control over it with this control down here? I gotta check the manual to find out before I blow something up. Fooling around with high power RF is a little on the dangerous side, especially for me. Okay, so in the manual here it says mic CW level control. That's this one here. When the USB or LSB buttons are depressed, this control adjusts the audio drive. So and then the audio drive controls how much power you're actually putting out on the antenna. When the CW or tune buttons are depressed, this control adjusts the carrier level. Very good. Okay, so when you're in single sideband, there is no carrier. There is just a single sideband. But in CW, I don't know about CW, or tune, there is a tone that, oh my gosh, generates a carrier. Okay, I don't know what to think of that. This adjusts the carrier level, but in single sideband there really isn't a carrier. Anyway, I'm probably just confused about something. Nevertheless, this controls the output power. So if I push the tune and the high button, with this turned down, I should get a fairly low power output. And hopefully not go sky high. Now, any other considerations before doing this? One is the meter up here, the CB meter. Get its things blown off here if I'm not careful. So I'm going to take it out of the circuit, because I'm sure if we pump 100 watts through here, that'll be the end of the meter movement. Okay, is this radio still on? Yes. Radio's still on. Put this aside. Over here. I mean, I really don't need it anymore. I know there's something coming out of the radio. You know, the other thing that's really been bothering me, and I've been thinking a lot about, is all those spurious signals that seem to be adjacent to the main tuned carrier frequency. It really has me worried. It's as if I go to transmit with this, I'm transmitting on the main frequency I've selected and about a dozen more at varying levels of strength, and a couple of the spots seem to be awfully strong. So that's not good at all. So I've never noticed it when I've actually been using this radio. It would have to be, if it's a problem, it's something recent maybe, I don't know. Or perhaps when you're looking at that 1 watt signal, there isn't as much filtration. Maybe when we run it on high power, there's more filtration. I don't know. Let's go down to the band I'm most comfortable with is the 20 meter band here. Let's wait here and turn this control. So I'm on the 20 meter band. This is down. We are connected through this to this up here. Big heavy stuff. We're on a dummy load here. Dummy load can take 25 watts continuous. Above that, I have to think about the duty cycle of the resistor that's inside here that's going to be heating up. Should probably set that to, let's set it, I think I have it set to 30 watts. And I feel like I can't tell. Well, here we are. So in is the top, out is the bottom. Right on. So we're peak power. So the meter will read peak power, not average. And okay, all ready? Usually before I'm going to do something I think might cause a problem, I'm really hesitant about it. But I think we're plenty safe here. I don't think I'm going to damage the radio or anything, especially if I keep this down. Okay, let us give it a try. So put on the high switch, set this down, and we push this button and keep my eyes peeled on this meter, and if it goes up, let's see, 30 now would be way up here. If it whacks the top hard, and I think it's way more than 30, then I'll just turn the set right off. Here we go. There's nothing there. Oh, so I heard the transmitter relay operate and the radio. I saw absolutely nothing come out of here. Didn't figure on that. So let's try it again, and I'll turn up the level here and see what comes out. Everything ready? I'm ready. This is down. Put this power, that makes this meter on the radio also measure the output power. Okay, tune. Watching this now. Come on. Wow, there's nothing happening. There's the tone. Ooh, nothing whatsoever. That's completely unexpected here. What have I got? What am I doing wrong? I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. Okay, let's turn it off. Tune it off. Relay, the relay snapped out. That's good. Try another band. Let's, I don't know, let's just try the 7 high. Here we go. This is down. Nothing at all. Uh-oh. Ooh. Okay. I was at a radio I used so much so long ago, it doesn't work now. Well, maybe what I should do is I should put my own tone in and attempt to transmit my own tone. Or another thing I do, I flip on the CW here. I'm not sure what that does. I don't know. You know, I don't have a key hooked up to use Morse code. That's what this is all about. I'm not even sure where you hook up a key. I suppose you hook it up in the microphone. Let's give it a go. This is down. CW. Oh, you know what? Just pushing CW won't cause it to transmit. I have to push a transmit button. I have a couple options for that. One is plug the microphone in and push the microphone button. That's a bad option. I don't have the microphone. Another option is feed an audio signal into the back through the patch input, like a tone, and then use the Vox to trigger the transmitter. So I have a little less control over what's happening at that point, but I can always hit the on-off switch if I really need to turn the thing off. Now what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is this thing starts pumping out 120 watts and I don't know it. That would be the worst thing. A lot of power is coming out. I don't know it. I don't realize it for some reason. And before you know it, something's gotten a little too hot. Because this also has a duty cycle. And especially in the digital modes or CW at high power, you got to watch out for how long you transmit with this without letting it cool down. Okay, enough thinking. So I'm just being very cautious here. I don't want to blow stuff up. I don't want to blow it up unnecessarily. So I don't think there's any reason to push the CW button. We're not going to get anywhere. What I should do is look at putting a tone into the back of the radio. A tone into the back of the radio. Okay, I'm going to turn it off so I don't do anything stupid. So the only stupid things I do are the ones I planned on. That's what we'll do. So I'll put this into patch in. Patch in, and I'll bring it over here. Part of my problem with this audio generator here is I'm never sure the output level on it. It's a little on the hit and miss side. Of course, I'm not really sure about what this is looking for as an input. This is tricky business. Tricky business. Okay, so we'll assume that this is putting out a signal. I'm on B, right around 1,000 hertz, which is perfect. 1,000 hertz tone. Take off the high button here. Yeah, you know what? I can get this to operate without having the high button pushed. I don't have to worry about cooking anything by accident. Okay, now you turn on the Vox with this button here. So the Vox sensitivity is down, delay is also down. So turn on the Vox, listen for the relay to snap. No snapping of the relay, so that's good. When we hear the relay, the transmitter relay snap, that means the Vox has the voice actuated circuitry has triggered the radio to go into transmitting. So I'll turn up the Vox gain. There's some amount of audio being provided to that patch input. Let's see if it's enough. Here we go. I would say no, it is not enough. So now what's gone wrong? Either there isn't any signal coming out of my signal generator. I need a much quicker way to test that out. Or it's just not enough coming out. How to test to make sure there's something coming out of there. Hand me a speaker. Yeah, in my spare time, I've been reorganizing my shop a little bit and getting things into better order. There's a nice little speaker there. That should do the trick. That's why I have a bucket of speakers now. Just a few. And clip leads here. I'll just clip in this speaker here. Make sure we've got something happening. And because I've been cleaning up, I've been bringing in more stuff into the shop. It's getting a little more crowded in here. That's forcing me to organize a bit better. I hear nothing. That's good. I don't want to hear anything just yet. Let's make some noise. There we are. Okay, now for sure the tone is here. The tone is here. That's a pretty high level, I'm guessing. Turn it down. Beautiful. Take away my little speaker. You know where we stand with that. I will reconnect the... Make sure the Vox is off, or the thing will... Power's off too, so it's okay. Okay, now we're still on Oop, what are you looking at there? We're still on low power. We're set to upper sideband transmission. I'm going to leave it like that for now. Okay, power on. There's the radio. We're doing this in the 7 megahertz band somewhere. Yeah, so I think I just leave the high button off and the transmitter will be triggered by the Vox. Here we go. No luck on that. Okay, for sure I'm on the in. Patch in. Okay, let's turn it up again. Oop, wrong control. Turn the output of the signal generator up. Okay, that's a whopper of a signal going back in. What's happening? Why isn't the Vox triggering? Possibly. Possibly this guy. Get the box up full. No. No. Okay, there's an anti-Vox control here. I don't really know how to set it. Vox sensitivity is full. Signal being fed to it is substantial. And, twiddling those controls. Anti-Vox. Anti-Vox. I don't know what that is. Anti-Vox, I think, is about stopping the receiver's incoming received signal from triggering the transmitter. I don't have the Vox button pushed in. Okay, that's good. Way to go. Let's try it again. This time, Vox. Okay, listening for the transmitter relay. Well, I can hear something reproducing the 1000 hertz tone. Something somewhere in here. Unless we're already transmitting. No, we wouldn't hear that. I wouldn't hear that. Oh, there's no relay. What? No relay. Because I don't have the high power button pushed. Of course, the high power button allows the high power relay to close and close in the final transistors and produce the high power output. So if I don't have this button pushed, I'm never going to hear the relay. Good thing I turned up the audio. So there we are. Great. Let me turn down the audio so it's that's triggering. Go. It's probably still a little too strong, but excellent. So now we can try driving the high power transmitter using that signal as if we are really transmitting. Doesn't that make me nervous? What about this guy here? Maybe this is only affecting a microphone input. And the input from the back of the radio maybe is not affected by this. Because this is down to 0 and it's still Vox triggered on the audio being fed in the back. So you'd think if this were 0 it couldn't trigger. And the transmitting frequency I want to fool with, we can leave it right here. Okay, we'll put on high power. Now, it's possible that the signal level I'm feeding into the back of this radio is going to cause it to go right to 100 watts. It's just going to go full blast. I don't know what to expect. And one of the reasons I'd be hesitant is, you know, this is designed to run at to 120 watts, maybe even a little bit more, who knows? But this guy has not been run at that power level. And so I'm taking them into a zone with a lot of power involved that it's not used to being in, especially since it's been sitting around for 7 or 8 years now. Will I blow something up in the radio? And what I'd really be worried about, frankly, back here are the output transistors that produce the high power, and those are the guys that will take a beating. This radio has some protection in it. It has a feedback circuit in the output where if the output is, if the reflected power back from the antenna is too much, if the antenna system is not absorbing the power coming out of the radio properly, the radio can sense this and it will actually turn down its output. So it has a self-protecting capability. So maybe I shouldn't be too worried. Another thing I can do is drag down the audio level even lower, but I think we're ready to go. I've convinced myself. So the high power button is on. I just turn the Vox up. Keep an eye on this meter. I'll set this to a higher power setting. Okay, so now this reads up to 300 watts. So 100 watts is here. Let me move my meter over here. I'm going to move the camera over here. A little better look at the meter. Now, there's 2 pointers on this meter. There's one that goes this way and there's another one going that way. So we just ignore this one for now. It's this meter we want to watch. Like I said, if it comes up into this 100 range, I will be a little nervous. Hopefully it'll pop up just a little wee bit, if at all. Okay, so I will turn up the Vox gain. That'll trigger the transmitter. You'll hear the relay snap in and we'll see this meter jump up. That's my theory. Here we go. Turning it up. No meter jumping. No meter jumping. Okay, I certainly have these buttons on high, pushed. Upper sideband, shouldn't really matter. Not with that tone there. Okay, that's twice now. I've got me sort of suggestion that this thing is not going into high power operation here. That's new. Okay. Let's try another band. This is the 20 meter band that I normally use anyway. Okay, and I'll start advancing the Vox. Keep our eye peeled on this meter. 300, 100. That's the spot. You know, a lot of times what you're hearing me do, by the way, I'm not really talking to you. I'm actually rehearsing. I'm talking to myself. Making sure I got everything right here. Trying to make sure, anyway. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to advance the Vox now. It's going up. Here we go. Absolutely nothing showing up. This is set so that these various adjustments don't do anything. This is out of the circuit. This is basically a box with a resistor in it, and this switch is set to that resistor. So there's nothing fancy going on here. Oh, it also has the meter, but none of these controls are important. They can't interfere with the situation. How come no power? Okay, so I'm going to advance the mic CW level control this time. So we're going to turn the Vox to trigger the transmitter. Here we go. And I will now advance the mic CW level, which I'm doing now. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Okay, we'll switch it off again. Well, I'm stuck now. Wow, this is not good. This is. I did not expect to get to a position here with this guy where I suddenly started thinking he's not even transmitting properly. What could I possibly be doing wrong here? That I'm too stupid to realize I'm doing. Everything is connected correctly. I could pump a higher level signal into the Vox, but I don't think that's necessary. I know from experience, when that Vox triggers, there's enough audio there to drive the transmitter. Well, let's try, I don't know what to try. Let's try lower sideband. How can this possibly be any different? Notice a change in the audio when I flip from listening. I'm listening here. That's lower sideband. What happened? That was upper sideband. Where'd it go? What have I done? I've just totally broken my radio. Oh my gosh, the whole thing's gone dead. Oh. Danger, danger. Danger, take it off high. Danger, Jimmy, what's happened? What happened just now? Oh my gosh. I'm sliding backwards here, not forwards. What happened? I should be hearing the radio. The Vox is turned right off now, so it cannot trigger it. There's not it's like not the slightest sound coming out of that speaker. Did the wire give up here? Speaker wire at the back. Man alive. You never know what you're going to face here. So listen to the sound here. That's lower sideband. This is what upper sideband sounds like. I'll turn it up. It's hard to hear. Okay, so that's upper. Has that lower tone hiss. And this is lower. So that suggests to me that there's some alignment issue here, and that the upper and lower sideband filters, or however it's being done, something is out of balance and needs to be adjusted. So when you flip from lower sideband to upper sideband, I don't think there should be a dramatic audio difference. That's another problem. Okay, let's get back to what we were trying to do though. We were on upper sideband. Radio's on, Vox up, Vox on, Vox up. Okay, so that's a low power. Now we'll flip it to high power. Bearing in mind that this is, when things don't work, you get comfortable with them not working, and then all of a sudden they work when you don't expect it, and you're caught with your pants down. I think we're ready for another test. Okay. Keep an eye on this meter here. I'll bring it back over here. Remember, it gets up around the 100 here, I'm nervous. That should happen. Here we go. Now, perhaps some of these plugs here are not making proper contact. This is the low power board or the driver board, and it fires its power out here, so it says high power out of here, goes around through some filters underneath, I think, come back out. No, that's not right. Goes out here, somehow it gets into this high power board, comes out here, where it comes out here, it's heading to the antenna. So this connection maybe, I suppose I shouldn't do this with it on. That's a low power out, which we've already sensed it works. Well, let's see if that did anything. You never know. Did that do something? Once again, I'm in that position where you're becoming less and less concerned about things suddenly working. That's the most likely time they're going to suddenly jump to life. Okay, once again, on the box, transmitter is set to low, first of all. Low power. The box is working. Now we'll go high power. This time you'll hear the relay. Once again, this thing jumps way up. I filled my pants. Here we go. It's just nothing. Ain't no power. Well, that sounds like a troubleshooting journey to me now of what's going on. So let's recap all the poor things that are happening with this radio. Digital display, it's still not reacting. I have some ideas. By the way, I have not taken the time to read all the comments that you're all leaving. Many comments. I see the count, so I know how many are there, but I haven't had the time to sit down and read them all. So I'm still flying just on my own brain. I have not availed myself of the multi-brain yet, because I'm still in the investigating mode. And so that's one thing. Digital display. I think I can solve the problem there, I think. I have some ideas. Next one is the power output. Just discovered today. I got to go away and think. Am I doing something stupid here? I don't think I am. I think it should have actually transmitted. So I got to ponder what to do next. Maybe read the manual a little bit on that. Wasn't there another thing? Another thing is getting some proper light bulbs in here. Make sure I turn off the high button. Never leave your radio with the high button on. So that's it. That's as far as I can get. I think today I gotta think from here. I gotta think and plan what to try next. A little bit disappointing, but that's kind of how it goes when you start into these things. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you later.